Okay. I think I'm going to save a lot of my Algorand news, but I do want to react to this video because Altcoin Daily
Is Algorand
Altcoin Daily made this video about Algorand, and it's nice to see. Frankly, it's nice to see an account of that size making Algorand content. So we're going to get to that. We're going to dive into this video. I haven't watched it, so I'm coming into this fresh. I don't know anything about it, but we're going to see. We're going to see what the deal is. So let's take a look. And then, like I said, I'm trying to do segments and not talk between the segments unless it's relevant to the video. Otherwise, I'll save it. If it's a comment that's not relevant to what we're talking about, and I'll answer it afterwards. I will say though, the computer, you can run it on very low software. Like those little mini computers are perfectly fine for it. But anyway, let's get to this Algorand video. I think staking comes up.
a sleeping giant about to awaken in 2025? I mean, it has some of the biggest growth in terms of dApps that are building, yet is still flying under so many people's radar. Also, how's it different than a Solana or an Ethereum? And because Algorand just unveiled their new staking rewards, watch today's whole video. Here's everything you need to know in under 10 minutes on why Algorand staking is not just different, but better compared to the other cryptos. Seriously, watch today's whole video and find out how you can take advantage. This video was made in collaboration with the Algorand Foundation. And let's start plain and simple. When comparing Algorand to other blockchains,
I think that Algorand, if you're a developer and you want to develop an app,
number one, and not many people know this, why is Algorand the best blockchain for developers to build on?
if you're a developer and you want to develop an app that needs to have real world scale, I think Algorand is by far the best blockchain to do this on. And there's three reasons for that. One is the one that I already mentioned, which is we offer a native Python implementation, so you as a developer don't have to worry about learning a new language, learning new tools. It's all there. Everything that you're familiar with is there.
So a programming language that developers already know and like.
Python is one thing. Coming very soon is TypeScript, and that's a whole other kind of world of developers that now will have access to an easy on-ramp if you want.
Yeah, by the way, nobody really talks about the Python thing anymore, but that was kind of a big deal because when Python went live, it made it a lot easier to develop on Algorand because Python is like one of the biggest languages in the world right now, and it's the only one that I know how to code in. I did a little JavaScript too, but and I actually don't even do Python much anymore because I can just do everything I used to be able to do in ChatGPT in about maybe a 20th of the time. That's probably being generous, to be honest. It is fun to play around with, and I probably will, when I have more time, I probably will play around with coding. But this was big. It really brought people in, and TypeScript is the next one. And there was this little debate, and I did want to know, ICP has WebAssembly, which allows it to be coded in other languages, including Python, but it's not quite the same as pure Python, because pure Python is like directly versus like having kind of a layer between it. I'm not technical enough to know why that's a big deal necessarily, but it is worth mentioning. So anyway.
To blockchain. But the second reason, the developer ROI on Algorand is 6 times as high as on Ethereum or any other chain.
So this is a reason that developers choose Algorand. It's just faster to build. Enterprise blockchain products can be built 600% faster on Algorand versus Ethereum or EVM chains. An experienced blockchain developer using Algorand Python could develop in less than a month what a Solidity developer may need nearly a quarter to build. Another consideration would be which blockchains are future-proof. You may remember my video from about a month ago, top 5 quantum-resistant crypto altcoins. The entire history of the Algorand blockchain is quantum secure and future-proof. Listen to John, their CTO, explain.
So we are fairly ready for this, right, John? We are fairly ready in terms of like being able to be quantum secure. At least our ledger already is completely quantum secure. So any transaction that's recorded on the ledger, is immutable and will stay immutable even if these quantum computers come online, right?
Yeah, you're quite right, Mark. So our ledger, the history of all the transactions on the chain, the billions of transactions that are in the Algorand blockchain, they are secured by the post-quantum signature scheme that's NIST and soon to be FIPS approved, known as Falcon. It actually stands for Fast Fourier Lattice-Based Signatures over NTRU, but essentially what it uses is mind-bending structures of hypercubes in space in order to deliver a crypto system. And so, yes, this ensures that the history of all transactions on Algorand is secure against any quantum attack that may be coming 10 years down the line.
And by the way, that means they're, notice that he said it was past transactions, and that's very, very important, but they're still working on future proofing. So that's really important. It's good that that's the case. But so I got into this argument with HBAR versus Algorand, and which is more quantum resistant, and I'm not 100% sure. The more I looked, Falcon is kind of the gold standard from what I can see, and so yeah, it was what's that guy's name? I can't think of his something Williams, I think. We had kind of a little Twitter battle, and I think I lost the Twitter battle because I didn't do enough research when it came through, and I was watching football and kind of just wanted to relax. So, by the way, this next point is really important. Which blockchain DLT among the top 60 has never experienced downtime? Even Hedera can't say that. ICP can, Cardano can, XRP can, Near Protocol can. Is that VeChain, I think? And is this Aave? I'm not sure which one that is. Or is that Avalanche? And then, of course, Algorand's there. So, and this is another important point, too, and I know he's probably going to get to it, but the network can handle 10,000 TPS and has handled over 15,000 historically. Yeah, so I don't know if a lot of people know this. I don't know about 15. I haven't seen 15,000, but I know Eldar, who I share his stuff on stream a lot or on videos. He showed transactions. She showed logs where it's crossed like 14,000. So it's been like almost 15,000. I'm not sure about cross. I didn't see it cross 15,000, but that's not the one I've seen shared. So
Number 3, something else to consider. Develop on a blockchain that never goes down. In case you missed it, Algorand has 0 downtime. You can't say that about a Sui or a Solana or an Ethereum. Here is Algorand's founder, Silvio, speaking next to Solana's founder, Anatoly.
By the way, we have been producing over 20 million blocks every 4.4 seconds without any interruption of service.
sick burn, bro.
So Solana.
And before...
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, dude, I love Silvio just throwing a little shade at Solana. That is awesome. Then Sol gave him the day off. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, and it's true. It's totally true. Solana's been down a lot, actually. And, it's not to mention all the failed transactions. And I think I shared it before that there was this huge battle between Justin Bonds and the Algorand community. We talked about it on stream, and I made a video. And this is the thing he never addresses, like the downtime and the failed transactions. I think the failed transactions are probably worse. Well, maybe not. I think they're both bad. Everyday Algonaut says, I think we should marketize 50K TPS for Algorand because in this 10K, 15K TPS, they're not included the inner transactions, which Solana includes, by the way. And Algorand is going to be adding P2P. That's a big thing that it gets criticized. Rowan says it's Tron. Oh, okay. The other one was Tron. Sorry about that. We'll get to the other comments later on as I'm just reading off the relevant ones. Oh, the most challenging would be how to make the quantum secure accounts because this will mean there is not going to be the ED25519 signing mechanism. Anyway, we'll get back to the other stuff.
Or everybody says, well, Algorand doesn't really have to deal with the high loads that Solana has to deal with. Algorand has proven to handle on its mainnet multiple times over 10,000 transaction per second loads with the highest TPS recorded, almost 15,000 transactions. Also dApps that continue to grow. We see growth. Lofty is a big one. This is emerging as sort of a hidden gem.
By the way, I don't think he's going to talk about it, but Lavazza enables a supply chain traceability for select coffee ranges from this leading global brand. And I've been buying their coffee. You can get it on Amazon, by the way. It's really tasty. It's actually really good coffee, and it's definitely competitive with the other brands. In fact, I think I'm paying less for Lavazza than I would for, I get like a month's worth of beans for like, I don't know, 15, 16 bucks now. So yeah, I've been happily buying it to support Algorand, helping out in the back end, and it's just good coffee. So you hear about Quantos. Lofty, you hear a lot about TravelX, FIFA. I mean, these are some pretty big projects, a lot of small ones too. But then you see like LimeWire, it's like, yeah, you guys are, that one, LimeWire is, I think HisabPay should be up higher up for sure. That's a huge one. That's basically the PayPal of like in Afghanistan. That's like their version of PayPal, but it runs on Algorand rails. I mean, that's such a cool project that no one talks about. There's other ones like Shosha. Come on, that game's like when I first started making videos in 2021, that game was in progress, and I still haven't seen a finished game. So I'm probably going to catch some flack from them, but hey, in LimeWire, like they make this big partnership with Algorand, and then their first NFT is launched on Ethereum. Age of Tactics still working on that. You can find that in the Epic store. It's not live though. Yeah, but it's interesting.
In the real-world asset sector, fractional real estate marketplace with 60 million total value locked and 142 properties, including luxury Airbnbs. So with as little as $50, you can invest in real estate in the US. Also looking at their ecosystem, another one to note is Folks Finance. Folks Finance is the largest DeFi app built on Algorand, and they're transforming decentralized finance. Their TVL as of January of this year was over 137 million and growing. And by the way, with all this in mind, who is Algorand's founder? Who is Silvio? Created by Silvio McCall, the father of modern cryptography and a Nobel laureate in computing.
It's Silvio Macaulay, by the way, not McCall. And by the way, he's this guy is like, he's like the man when it comes to cryptography. And I saw him speak at Decipher in Dubai in 2022. Amazing. It's like I haven't experienced this too often, but once in a while you hear someone speak and you're like, oh, that's an actual genius. Like that is an actual genius. Like this is someone who's like in another category of intelligence that is pretty far above me. Let's be honest. Definitely a big deal. When I heard John speak, I was really impressed with his speech too. What I told him is like, I said, you were like the second most impressive speaker, and that is behind Silvio, because man, I mean, that is true genius. But yeah, pretty fascinating. Anyway, sorry, I just had to rib them a little bit.
He is notably the co-inventor of zero-knowledge proofs, and Satoshi Nakamoto used his work to create Bitcoin, meaning very recognized in his field. And literally, in 2025, they've just had a massive upgrade. Stake your algo to help secure the network and collect rewards. This adds to the decentralization because now the people are securing the network and collecting rewards to do it. Again, this is CTO John Woods explaining.
The aim for consensus incentivization, i.e. staking rewards, and the aim for peer-to-peer is to maximally decentralize the Algorand network so that it brings the most value to people who are using it. The more decentralized a decentralized network is, the more it's worth putting into your technology stack to do the kind of things that Algorand is great at.
So how is Algorand staking different? And why stake on Algorand?
Staking on Algorand is not going to be the same as staking on Ethereum. It's going to be, I think, the best form of staking that I've ever seen. And maybe the reason we were able to do this is because we came to this like this year.
I kind of agree with that, but I really liked when you could just stake right in your wallet. I mean, that was the easiest, right? No hardware needed. Well, first you could do it in Coinbase. That's how I got into Algorand, by the way. I got into it because they had staking on right through Coinbase, and it was better than Tezos. So I said, hey, let's do this. Let's do the Algorand thing. And then when they canceled staking on Coinbase, I learned that you could still earn if you moved it over to your own wallet. So I learned how to do that. And that's kind of how I like got into like really diving into DeFi and things like that. Because then Yieldy went live, and I saw a news item about it like the day it went live, and I thought, oh, I got to jump on this. Let's check this out. Well, we don't know how Yieldy went, but it was kind of like the start of like moving off into doing all this stuff. And what I was impressed by, even with Yieldy, and you know, we all rip on Yieldy a lot. You know, it's kind of a failed project, but let's be honest, even Yieldy, like it functioned pretty well from a functional standpoint in terms of like the thing you're supposed to do, can you do it easily? That doesn't sound, if you've only done Algorand and you haven't tried other chains, like that's kind of a surprise. Cause like when you go to other chains, the thing you're supposed to be able to do, a lot of times you can't do. So, you know, when people wonder why I'm like big on Algorand, because it actually works.
We looked at all of the ways it could be done.
What happened?
Of course, knew the architecture of Algorand because the team built it. And we thought, what is the best form of staking we could deliver, right? Just like what is the best phone you could deliver? What's the best car you could deliver? And we really thought about it from a product point of view. And so, you know, here's 5 things. 1, I mentioned earlier, super low hardware requirements, right? You can run this thing on a wristwatch, right? Like maybe an Apple Watch Pro, you could probably run this thing on. Number 2, you're going to get rewards in real time. So I mentioned the block times every two and a bit seconds. Right? You're going to get those rewards paid every 2 and a bit.
So if that sounds confusing, just understand there are 4 main things that differentiate Algorand staking. No slashing, no lockups, real-time rewards, as well as low hardware requirements. So number 1, no slashing risk. Staking algo is not subject to slashing. Instead, ineffective nodes are algorithmically removed from consensus and simply forgo rewards, meaning they motivate stakers with a carrot and never a stick. Also, no lockup periods. On Algorand, independent validators maintain control of their algo at all times. Staked tokens remain in the user's wallet while securing the network as part of consensus, meaning you.
So for the crown, you were asking about that. That's your answer. You don't have to lock it up. You keep it in your wallet. And it's really important to point out too, this initial rewards for block proposers, 10 algo plus 50% of transaction fees. The 10 algo is being provided by the foundation, and that won't last forever, just to be clear. So the APY that you get will go down. I think it is worth pointing out though, that this is a higher level of reward than you got when you just wallet stake, because you were getting like 5.5, I think, if I remember right. And so this is like it's been from what I've been hearing from people, it's been more like 6.5, 7%. It kind of varies though. Like I said, your hardware will somewhat dictate that. So that's important to keep in mind.
You don't have to, you know, lock your coins for 30 days or 6 months or whatever it is. You are in control. Also low cost / low hardware. Running a node on Algorand is extremely cheap, meaning essentially you can just do this on your basic laptop. And also real-time rewards. On Algorand, rewards are paid as each block is finalized, meaning every 2.8 seconds, and your stake automatically compounds, instantly increasing your voting power, meaning it doesn't pay out at the end of the month or at the end of every 2 weeks, every 2.8 seconds. I will link this website.
By the way, you see that they say 16 gigs. That's the recommendation, and John has said you most likely could probably get away with 8 gigs of RAM. So yeah, the internet speed is pretty important, but the RAM you could get away with less. But I think if you buy these mini PCs, I think they pretty much come with 16 gigs, at least. I'm pretty sure. And like I said, the minis are like, man, I mean, you can get one of these for like under $200, and that's running your node. And if you already have, you know, Mark, the CMO who spoke earlier, he was at the beginning of the video. That's a big get, by the way. He was he was the guy who kind of helped launch Android. So yeah, kind of a big player, right? A very good get. He said he was running on like a 10-year-old MacBook Pro. Now, I will say I had like a really old Mac that I used to stream on. Some of you guys, OGs, remember that, where I'd be loading CoinMarketCap for like 30 seconds. And that didn't do so well with running a node. I did try to run one, mostly just because it went so slow. Further Crown asked, which mini are you referring to? Honestly, anything that has like 16 gigs is going to be fine. I mean, there's Beeline, I'm running this on a GMK Tech right now, you know, and it works really well. And this one isn't even one that has a GPU. There's some you can get that have like a graphics card too, that were a little bit more, and I probably should have bought that since I do a lot of streaming, but I haven't. This has been light years like better than my old Mac, and it was like $200, and I think I ended up paying like 70. I know a lot of people are doing the Mac Mini too. I think that's overkill though. I don't think you need a computer with the power of a Mac Mini. You know, like I said, there's Beeline, there's GMK Tech, there's like all these other ones, more than capable of running it. So anyway, let's finish out this video.
Right down below, if you want to take advantage, they offer solo staking, liquid staking, staking pools, and delegated staking. I think liquid staking, to me, is the way to go. Liquid staking applications allow users to stake their algo while maintaining liquidity. While each platform is unique, the typical process asks users to deposit algo and mint new tokens that represent the ownership and value of the staked algo, and then you can use those new tokens across the algo DeFi ecosystem. If you want some recommended options for liquid staking, they list the main ones right on their.
Yeah, we kind of talked about these. In fact, yeah, everything on here we talked about, including Valor. But yeah, like I said, I think Ready Pool is probably the simplest. I think the liquid staking probably has the biggest. So I kind of agree, kind of don't. It kind of depends on your level of, you know, how deep do you want to go? Like, do you want to pay attention to this a lot? Because the liquid staking, like, there's kind of a lot of messing around you have to do, but you can earn more rewards. And, you know, you don't have to worry about whether you have 30,000 algo or not. Valor's kind of running a node without running a node, if that makes sense. But I kind of can't tell how it's different from Ready Pools. And then Ready Pools is like probably the simplest if you don't have the node, or even if you do. I mean, it's probably the simplest in terms of like, you could do that right from your Paro wallet, by the way, which is what I do. There's a little stake button, you push stake, you go to the Ready Pool section, and boom, you just join. So
website linked down below. And let's just say, for argument's sake, that I had 100 Algorand I started staking today. If I started with 100, at the end of the year, how much Algorand would I have? Friend of the channel, AJ Writes Crypto, asked this very question.
I have 100 Algorand. I stake it for a year. How many Algorand do I have at the end of the year?
Sure. So, I mean, we've run some models on this to kind of give people an idea of what to expect when they're buying hardware and getting involved in the work that's going to be required to stake. And so there's a bunch of little parameters you got to think about. So one is how much you stake. Let's say 100 algo as an example. Two might be how much of the global Algorand is kind of online, right? Is being staked. And so Ethereum's got about 25% of all ETH is currently staked. The last time I checked, that may not be accurate as of this moment, but as of the last couple of weeks, it was. We're looking between 15 and 20%. So if we have about 15 to 20% of all algo part of staking, which we think is very achievable, let's say that is one of the kind of the parameters in the model. Then finally, you have what is the reward in terms of like the total reward that you get for producing a block, and that is the fees plus the Algorand Foundation bonus. Essentially, in year one, it would look around 6.5 to 7 algo created per year for that 100 algo that you stake.
Which is pretty much what it's coming out at. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's been around 6.57%. Yeah, Brock says, Brock1212, and welcome to the show, by the way, says that's why John pushes Mac. He's a fanboy. Yeah, he's a pretty big Mac fanboy. I used to be, but man, I gotta tell you, I'm just not thrilled. Not thrilled with Mac lately. Actually, so I'm streaming on a mini PC right now. First time I bought a PC for years, and you know what? It's amazing. Windows 11 is awesome. It's like a better version of Mac OS. Now, at my day job, which I'll be there for another month, we have a machine with Windows 10. It's horrendous. So Windows does this, right? They've had a history of having like a really awesome version of it, and then the next one is absolute garbage, and then they get decimated, and then they go back to the drawing board, and then they make one that's really good, and they go back and forth, back and forth. Windows 11, super awesome. I really love it. Is the 1 terabyte storage space required? Can you get away with 512? I don't think you need. I'm pretty sure you can. Did they say that? Where's the part where they? Yeah, they didn't say anything about it. It's 1 gigabyte second internet connection. I don't remember them saying that you need a terabyte. Did he say that? Maybe I missed it. I don't think you need a terabyte. Anyway, I'm going to link this video. You should definitely give them I think Altcoin Daily does good stuff. I'd love to meet them sometime. I think they seem pretty reasonable. And, you know, AJ has been, that we just showed, he's been on the stream before, and I've been on his. He's had me on, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Everyday Algonaut says for running the node, you just need less than 50 gigabyte hard drive. So, yeah. But yeah, that's a good video. I think they did a pretty good job. They mispronounced Silvio Macaulay's name. It's not he just read it wrong. I think he saw the little I and thought it was a L, lowercase I thought it was an L. Not the biggest deal in the world. But yeah, I thought they got the facts right, and it was pretty solid. Good video, so yeah, good for them. Okay, I don't have nearly as much time as I thought. Dockside minimum, yeah. I'd listen to Everyday Algonaut. He's pretty up on these technical things, so. Yeah, so Everyday Algonaut says, yeah, you don't need to run in the archival mode. You can we just really need some small drive, but it should be fast. Yeah, so the speed is important, but it doesn't matter. You don't need a huge amount. You don't have to run it in archive. You don't have to keep it on your machine. So early on, I dealt with Cake DeFi a little bit,